The Wolf on Wall Street is Martin Scorsese's newest film with Leonardo DiCaprio about Jordan Belfort and his true story as a stockbroker where he did a lot of bad things. And this movie really loves showing that to the point that it probably shouldn't have even been rated R, but really pushed the boundaries of being NC-17 because there was a lot of sex, there was a lot of drugs, then there was a lot of more sex, and there was a lot more drugs. And I've obviously seen that in other movies, and you can tell by the trailer that there was going to be a lot of it, but I guess considering the fact that it's 3 hours long and a certain point it sort of becomes excessive. But I suppose the movie really wanted to show his life, and I don't think they had any trouble doing that. But to me the biggest draw was Leonardo DiCaprio because he's done several films with Scorsese before, and in this one I was hoping that he would finally get that Oscar, and I have to say that it is hands down one of his best performances. Not one of my favorites, but definitely one of his best because he is stripped down many times. He goes completely berserk in many scenes. He's very drugged out, and there's a specific scene at a country club which is hands down my favorite scene, had me laughing completely because considering that this is actually a comedy film, you see DiCaprio going all out, especially in this one scene. And the craziness is elevated with the likes of Matthew McConaughey, who's really in it for a very short amount of time, but he's the one who really starts boosting his character up to become what he is in the future. Jordan Berthon, who is Shane from The Walking Dead, who actually has a line in this movie where he goes, "Let me tell you something, man." Spike Jonze, who makes a short appearance, and Jonah Hill, who is hands down one of my favorite parts of this movie, who even though he got nominated for Moneyball, this one is hands down one of his greatest roles of all time because he had me laughing at several parts, and the chemistry that he had with DiCaprio was just completely perfect. But of course the fact that the movie is 3 hours long, it may seem like it's dragging at some parts, especially because he doesn't really get into any problems until the last part of the movie. That's when they start investigating him, but the whole beginning is just him partying and partying and partying, and it's just like, whoa, especially because they don't ever use drugs as a bad thing. It's always a motivator in the film, and sex is a motivator, and doing all these bad things are motivators for him. So I can see how this film is going to be very scummy, especially since it's coming out on Christmas Day. However, it's the performances and the absurd parts that they had in this film that makes it one of the best films of the year. Not the best, but one of the best hands down, but one that I still believe is worth watching, especially because of DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. American Hustle, however, is David O. Russell's newest film, who's also done The Fighter, and he's also done Silver Linings Playbook, and this one feels like a mix of the two, except with a lot more awkwardness to it. Because the cast is made up of a lot of the other actors that he's worked with before, and they're all great actors, except in this film, even though they do a great job with it, especially like Christian Bale has gained a lot of weight for it, and he slouches and everything, and it's all great. They're just really awkward, especially in the beginning. And it's the way that it starts off that feels very slow because it's sort of like a narrative where they're narrating each other's life and they're trying to tell you things, because what the movie really feels like, it's like Bonnie and Clyde mixed with White Collar, because they're trying to scam people with like these art that they sell, and they're this couple that are trying to make their way up in the way, but then they get caught and are forced to help Bradley Cooper's character out. And again, that beginning part was just really weird, and there are many instances where the characters just do really crazy things. There's one with Amy Adams where she's in a bathroom stall, and it's just like she does something and it's very weird. And there are many instances in this film where they start zooming in on characters, or they start like looking at their hands, and there's many weird camera movements that it has. And through a lot of it I was just sitting there like, I really don't know what's going on. Until it starts getting to the later half of the film where you see this very interesting cameo, because I didn't know that this person was in it, but it starts building up what the story really is, and the whole hustling and the whole conning thing that is going on. And it led up to what at least what I thought was a satisfying ending. But again, it just had a lot of weird moments because this one is also considered a comedy, and I guess you can see that because Bradley Cooper's character does a lot of crazy things. He's clearly needs anger management, but I guess the way that the movie edits its crazy actions is supposed to make it funny in a sense. Overall, while it wasn't a horrible film, I wouldn't say that it's his best. It's not as investing as Silver Linings Playbook was, or even as close-knit as The Fighter was either. This is more like a film that he wanted to get everybody who he worked with and put them all together and try to have everybody have their own little parts, but then it gets very convoluted. Like Jeremy Renner and Jennifer Lawrence, who were my favorite parts of this movie, and I know that Jennifer Lawrence is getting like nominations, however, I don't feel like she did enough in the movie, but at the same time, she didn't need to do enough in the movie because there are many times that she's just like thrown in there and they're forgetting about the main characters. And that's why I felt like the movie was sometimes just moving along until they finally felt like wrapping it up. But either way, they were both really good movies, with The Wolf of Wall Street coming up on top for me. But let me know if you're able to check any of these movies out. If you're looking forward to either of these or any other ones that are coming out Christmas Day, because there's a load of them coming out. Make sure to let me know anything about movies down below, what you're looking forward to and what you like the most, and I'll see you guys next time.